Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and attend this event. Firstly, I'd like to extend a heartwarmed thank you to all my colleagues from Legal Talk. You won't know, or some of you might know, but I went through a bit of a difficult time. And they stood by me, and especially to Marie at the back there. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I'm going to be talking about insourcing and outsourcing and hybrid. And hopefully the clicker will work with me this time. There we go. Firstly, I'd just like to get a couple of things out of the way. When you insource or out something, you cannot outsource responsibility or accountability. Unfortunately, I know we would all like to do that, but we can't. The other thing is I'd like to just get a common understanding around what is insourcing and outsourcing and a hybrid. So outsourcing is when you want to take specific tasks or entire functions in your business or law firm, and you want to outsource them to an LPO, legal process outsourcing agent, or a LSO, legal services outsourcing agent, with specific reason for saving costs. All right, that's very important. Specifically, saving costs. These are typically your routine stuff, your high turnover, your stuff that you keep on doing the same thing over and over, drafting of documents as an example. Insourcing, that is when you want to insource skills on demand. So they're not permanently employed. You want to insource specialized skills, and you want to insource them because you want control over them. So that would be typically when you get an advocate in. All right? That would be in your scenario, that typically what you're currently doing, you insource an advocate for that time period, and then you outsource, and then he's gone. He or she is gone. All right? And then you get a hybrid one, which is a balanced one, where you might have some insource partners, some outsource partners. Please, AI is either insourcing or outsourcing, depending on what you use. So the hybrid is where you have a hybrid version of those two. And you want agility. You want agility in that stuff, but you still want access to the expertise. All right. I think all of us will agree that since COVID, we cannot do business the way we used to do business. The clients have changed. The landscape has changed. There's a huge demand on us to become proactive, no longer reactive. Our clients demand it. So we have to change. We have to start collaborating. We have to start future-proofing our companies. The new generation of clients, they don't drive around looking for an attorney's board or a conveyancing. They open up their phones and they Google. They probably know more about you and your law firm than what you know about them. I recently had an incident where I had to find medical assistance very urgently, and I managed to get an appointment by a doctor, but he had more Hello Peter complaints than anything else. So guess what I did? I changed doctors. Okay, and that is what it is. All right. I'd also like to share a story with you about how we've evolved, especially when it comes to insourcing and outsourcing. Because at the end of the day, all of us over here, it's all about value creation. So I come from a corporate environment. I worked for a blue-chip German company for a very, very long time. And in the early 90s or the middle 90s, we were asked we will need to drop our budget by 30%. In other words, increase profits. And we didn't have a cooking clue how to do that. Then we heard this buzzword coming out of Europe, outsource. And it was like, outsource? How do you spell that? And our colleagues from Europe explained to us this thing. So we interpreted it our way. So what did we do? We identified the staff we don't like, and we outsourced it. We identified the jobs we don't like doing, and we outsourced it. Okay? And so we went down the queue until we had achieved our 30%. The problem is what happened afterwards, and I'll share with you later, is we learned a lot of things. We outsourced skill that we needed, and now it was gone. All right, so outsourcing is very careful. Must be very careful about that. Who of you have heard about the new arbitration rule in Gauteng? None of you. Okay. Well, the OCJ, the Chief Justice at the moment there, pushed out a practice directive that you will not get a high court date until you have attempted arbitration. All right, that has got a big impact for some of you who will do high court work. So, the practice directive came out as long as my arm, and a lot of clients asked me, I don't have time to read through this. Is there an outsourcing solution? So I turned to AI. This is an example of what AI said about it. And I hope it's good.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into something pretty significant happening in the South African legal world. A new directive from the Gauteng High Court. It looks set to really shake up how civil cases move through the system. Our job here is to break down this official document, pull up the key bits for you, and basically give you the shortcut to understanding why it's a big deal.
Okay, I'm not going to bore you with it further. If you want it, I can give it to you. All right, it's 15 minutes long. Okay, and it's 15 minutes long. So you could either listen to it 15 minutes or you can go read through 320 pages. What is more cost effective? All right, so that's an example of where we used a hybrid model. Someone outsourced something to me. I went to AI because I'm not going to transcribe it. Okay, and I got them to do it. So the question is, why do we want to do outsourcing? Why do we want to look at outsourcing and insourcing? As I mentioned to you, it's for cost saving. It's for becoming more efficient. Becoming more reactive. Outsourcing in the legal space is not uncommon. I found articles in South Africa dating back from 2011 where De Rebus, the Attorneys Fidelity Fund, Safley, already talking about moving away from the hourly tariffs as an example. Because as soon as you get that mind shift about moving away from the hourly tariffs, you start having a look and realizing that this thing is costing you money or there's a cheaper way to do something. All right, so this is not a new thing. I'll give you an example. A conglomerate mining firm in South Africa, in Johannesburg, in 2013, outsourced their contract drafting. They saved 700%. 700%. They got an award for it. You can go and Google it. Okay, it's very prevalent as we are moving along in South Africa. So, as you can see over there, I've got a slide up there about why. Why do we want to outsource? Plenty of benefits you can all read there, you can read there. So I'm going to not talk about what's up there, I'm going to talk about the meat behind that. We want to improve quality to our clients because that will mean they'll come back. We need to have reoccurring business from our clients, which means it needs to be cost effective. If it's expensive, they don't come back. We want to grow our business. We want to become more competitive to our colleagues next to us. We're going to become more specialized. To become more specialized, we need more skill, but skill's expensive. So that's why we want the insourcing or the outsourcing model, so that we can afford it. When we need it, we bring it in. When we don't need it, we go away. I outsourced my HR. I saved 15% in the first year. I do not know when my staff are on leave. I get an email entry in my calendar. I don't have to worry about special leave. I don't have to worry about family leave. It's all handled by someone else. So I can have time to focus on my business's core business. I'm not strapped down with little nitty-gritty keys that takes my focus away from the business. There's a new buzzword that's coming out, commodification. This is standardization of your processes. We all want to become corporates. What differentiates us from corporates and non-corporates? Commodification. The minute that you standardize a process and every employee and everybody does it the same way, you become efficient and faster, and the costs become less. All right. Yes, there are scenarios where some things are a little bit different. The scenarios is not quite the same. But that's why we get the skill in, to identify this. And that's why we want to outsource the right things at the right time. So in South Africa, because we live in South Africa, it doesn't help we talk about what's happening in Europe and all that kind of stuff. Just in the last research that we've done in the last 3 years, 5 new law firms, LPOs, legal process outsourcing firms, have started up in South Africa. 3 of those have got international ties, where you can do an M&A from here, employ them to do the M&A for you in the UK or in America or in Latin America, wherever the case might be, in rands, not in US dollars, not in exchange rate, in rands. LSOs, 2 new ones have popped up in the last year. Services, outsourcing legal services. Then, of course, we all have heard of AI. And just to inform you, the next phase of AI is old news, is machine learning. This is where we bring in machine learning technology, AI, smart AI, where we learn, where the machine learns, the AI bot, the chat bot or the doing bot, learns how you want to do things, how your business processes are, how you want to practice law, how you want to define your points of arguments. That's the next phase that's coming in. AI is moving into the back. I'm being told I've got 5 minutes left. Okay. So what? What can we typically outsource? Well, there's many things. Every single company, even the doggy parlor can outsource things and insource. So typical things that you outsource, and this is what we've learned, is you don't outsource strategic stuff, so management. Directors, you don't outsource directors. But management you can. Office management, perfect example of outsourcing. HR management, another thing. Accounting, brilliant to outsource. ICT management, brilliant for outsourcing. If you wanted to be an IT expert, you would have studied IT and not law. The same as me, I'm an IT specialist. I know a little bit about the law, a little bit more than most people, a little bit, but I'm not an attorney. If I wanted to be an attorney, I would have studied attorney. Same as an advocate, and so we can carry on. You want those skills when you need them. The problem is, in this space, we work in the legal space where we have court rules and laws, governance, compliance, from here to kingdom come, that chase up the costs. So when you find a vendor, when you select a vendor to help you with your insourcing or outsourcing, you need to make sure that that vendor understands the laws, understands the practice directives, is up to date with the latest practice directives. Because otherwise, how's he or she going to advise you on what you can outsource and what you can't outsource? What functions you can insource and what outsource you can't outsource? All right, the last thing that you want to do is outsource a core, what you feel is a core function at the moment. Your candidate attorneys, as an example. All right, you want to outsource them, but they are fee earners with the new LPC. So do you want to outsource them? No, you want to outsource what they were doing, like running to the sheriffs. Why are they running to the sheriffs? That fee you're never going to get back. Clients don't want to pay 700 Rand an hour to go and deliver a document. But if they consult with them, they can. So it's just that mind shift over how you want to do this. It is difficult, we understand that, but it's things that we need to do to be able to make your company, your firm, more competitive. As I've said to you, statistics that we've got from our own client base, 53% are moving away from those type of services. Candidate attorneys no longer drive to the sheriffs. That's outsourced. It's given out. No one is standing in queues in the court anymore. It's how we can make more billable hours, get more billable hours, more work out of those things. Performance. Remember, all the stuff that we want to do, we want to make 100% sure we've got more me time. With more me time, your mind is clear, we can get more work done. We don't want to be bogged down with unnecessary things. Monitoring and evaluation is very key. So when you develop or you outsource things, make sure that your monitoring, your reporting, your feedback to you should be automated. You shouldn't need to ask someone, has the document arrived at the sheriff? It should be given to you, that you can carry on your core focus. So make sure that that monitoring and evaluation is part of your outsource or your service that you receive from this outsource or insourcing partner, or when you develop a chatbot. Make sure that the chatbot informs you of X, Y, Z. All right, otherwise you have to question about it. In closing, if I can get the mouse to work, there we go. In closing, there are expert vendors available that have got many years of experience. They are there. Many of them will help you navigate and support you through that journey and not even charge you for it. Please, I ask you, have a look at your firm. Outsourcing and insourcing is the way that you are going to survive the next wave of clients that are on the horizon. Thank you very much for your time and attendance. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here.